Hi friends, today we will learn about check constraints. This is part 6. Just open your SQL Server. Here we have already one TBL persons table. Just select here. Okay, here in our tables have this ID, name, gender ID, age column, and if you are trying to insert into our table name is TBL person. I want to insert ID column, ID, comma, name, comma, gender ID, and also comma, age. I want to supply values for that. The ID is our fourth row. Okay, I mentioned fourth, comma. The name is Jenny, and our gender ID is Jenny is the female, so put 2, and I want to give these negative values for our age columns -270s. Okay, it is not valid data into our age. Just I try to insert here. Is successfully inserted into our TBL persons table. Okay, just select execute here. Here is this negative values is also inserted into our age columns. Why is that? Because in our age column is the integer values, so integer does support the negative values also. Okay, and is this possible to prevent to enter the data into our TBL persons within the range? Yes, it is absolutely possible. With the use of the check constraints, we can prevent this enter the data within this range of the values. Okay, and let's quickly manner. Here we are creating the check constraints or two ways. One is the graphical ways and another is using a queries. First we are going to create these graphical ways. Before we are creating check constraints, just delete our invalid data. Okay, just delete our fourth row and execute here. It's successfully deleted, and now we are going to create a check constraints for our TBL persons. Okay, here is our TBL persons table. Within our TBL persons tables you have these constraints, and right click on your constraint, right click new constraints. It will open one pop-up window, and this is this check constraint. Default it will add as check constraints. ck underscore TBL person is our table name, and I want to also add our column name age. I want to add a constraint into our age column. Okay, and here is our expressions. Here we are putting the database already exit. Okay, just close it. Just close it. Before here I delete our existing constraints here. Now you are adding to our new constraints. Okay, here ck is this check constraints. Check constraints is added to our TBL persons table, and also I include my age column, because age column this age columns only have this check constraints values. Okay, and here you have these expressions, and just click this button, and here you will put your conditions here. The age should greater than 0 and age should less than 150. Okay, here is your condition, and this will prevent to enter the unvalid data into our column of your table. Just okay, and click close. It will create it, and just save your table. Yes, it will save, and now you are trying to just select here. Now you are trying to insert these negative values for your table. Means what gonna happen? is throws an error. The insert statement conflicted with the check constraints ck underscore tbl persons underscore each. The check constraints will throw in an error because this invalid data. It doesn't satisfy our conditions, so it throws an error. And instead of negative values, give an valid data 35 and just execute here. It will happily inserted into our tbl persons. Just select and see. Okay, but you put this 200 means it's also throwing an error because it doesn't satisfy our exceeding conditions. What is our conditions here? Age is greater than 0 and age is less than 150. This is our conditions, but 200 is exceeding our limit. Okay, so it's not inserted, it's throwing an error. Okay, sorry, this primary key. Okay, fifth row I want to insert and is throwing an error because of check constraints. Okay, and how to drop your constraints? And just alter table. Your table name is tbl person. Just mention it here. I want to drop my constraints. Drop constraint. Which constraint you want to drop? Just refresh. You have created the check constraints. Where is that? Check tbl person age and F2 and copy that and just put and execute and refresh this folder. The check constraints will be gone. And now you are create our check constraint using a query. How? Just alter your table. Alter table. What is your table name? Is a tbl person. I want to add a constraint, so put add constraint and let's give it a meaningful name, ck underscore tbl person, and I want to add a constraint in my age column, so put it. And I want to add this which constraints, that is check constraints. Okay, check constraints and give it a expressions. My expression is age should be greater than 0 and age should be less than 150. Here age should be 150. This is our conditions. And now I am going to create our check constraints using a query. This is this syntax. Alter table tbl persons is your table name, and you want to add a constraint means just put add constraints and give it a meaningful name. And this check constraints within the parenthesis you have this boolean expressions. It's written only true or false and execute here. It will successfully added your constraints. Just right click on your constraint folder and refresh. It will create a constraint for us. And if just select all the row from your table. Okay, you have this fourth row, and now you are trying to insert a new row. Okay, insert into tbl person. I want to insert ID column and the name column and the gender ID, comma age. I want to supply values for that. Values is this. I want to insert the fifth row, comma, and just name is Raj. And gender ID is male, so put 1. And age, I want to give these negative values here. and just I want to try to execute this is negative values, okay, but it is not satisfied our conditions. Minus what is our values, minus 450, it is not satisfied this condition, so it will not execute well. Just try to insert here. What gonna happen, execute here, the insert statement completed with the check constraint ck underscore tbl person underscore age, and so and put this valid data 21, and if you try to insert, means it will happily inserted into our table. This is the usage of this check constraints. That's all today. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.